Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are going to discuss a recent paper from Facebook AI Research called Simple and Effective Zero Shot Cross-Lingual Phoneme Recognition. The overview is as follows. First we'll see the introduction of the paper, then we'll see the proposed approach, and as usual we'll see at the end experiments and results. What is phoneme recognition? So phoneme recognition is very simple. So given a audio, you have to generate phoneme sequence of the given audio, and the phoneme sequence for each language, most of the time it will be different, right? For example, if you take Indian languages, phonemes for Indian languages are different compared to English, right? The number of phonemes also varies across languages. And what people have done in the past is whether it's a neural network approach or if it's a hybrid GMM HMM or a DNN HMM approach, the model will directly predict the phone labels, and the input for the model will be some kind of feature, for example MFCC feature or other types of audio features. And even there are a few works where people have tried using raw audio as it is, and using raw audio as input to a neural network which extract features and then predicts the phoneme sequence of the given audio. And usually what people have done in the past is using something called supervised approaches, where the labels for the given audio or the phoneme labels for a given audio is known beforehand, so that you can use that as the prediction vocabulary and train the model using some sort of cross entropy laws or CTC laws, right? And that is the work which people have done in the past to generate or to build a phoneme recognizer. But in this work they propose something called zero shot cross-lingual phoneme recognition. So the idea is very simple. You take a self-supervised pre-trained model which is trained in with a multimodal or multilingual data set, and then you do some kind of a transfer learning. But in this case it's not fine tuning or not transfer learning in the sense like what people do usually, like for example training with some label data. But in this case they don't use any label data, they use no labels data for the target language, and they are still able to generate the phoneme sequence, and we'll see how that is done. And they use Wave2Vec 2.0 architecture, which is become very famous recently. And even they have there is another version of this kind of algorithm, zero shot phoneme recognition or speech recognition, using something called Wave2Vec unsupervised Wave2Vec model. And we'll see how predicting phoneme sequence for unseen languages is done without using any label data, using something called articulator features. And in the experiment they show significant the model, this proposed approach obtains significant improvement over the previous work. And also they compare the monolingual pre-trained models as well. So the proposed approach has two sections. First we'll see what is self-supervised learning, standard thing. I think many people may be already knowing about self-supervised learning, at least in speech, which is Wave2Vec 2.0. Wave2Vec 2.0 is just one example of the self-supervised model, and there are many others as well. But in this paper they propose to use Wave2Vec 2.0, mostly because the paper is coming from Facebook AI group, which is the same group which did Wave2Vec 2.0 paper. So, and we'll see the other section, which is the phoneme mapping. Like I said, you don't know the labels beforehand to predict or to train the model. So you have to find a way to map the training phonemes to the target phonemes. We'll see how that is done. So self-supervised learning, as you all may know, this picture is a Wave2Vec 2.0 architecture, and as you know it has three sections mainly. One is called the feature encoder, which is basically sequence of convolution layers which are shown here, CNN. And you have context network, which is shown here, the transformer. This is the context network. And you have quantization block, which is these green circles. So what happens is, so the model takes raw audio waveform as input, which is shown here, X, right? And the CNN, which is called feature encoder, let's call it as F, right? It maps the X raw audio to latent vector Z. And these latent vectors are a sequence of feature vectors of some specific dimension, right? So all the feature extractor does is just it takes raw audio and applies 1D convolution on top of it, and then you get a sequence of feature vectors, right? And these feature vectors will be typically of dimension 512 or 1024 and so on, right? So that is the latent representation Z. Now these vectors may have some low level information, slow information, like for example the noise in, I mean the like MFCC kind of feature representations or spectrogram kind of feature representations, but we want to extract some high level representations which can be used for fine tuning the wave-to-wave model for downstream applications such as speech recognition or any other application like emotion recognition or language identification, right? I mean, because when you have when you can build these kind of large self-supervised model using a large amount of unlabeled data, you should be able to use them for downstream application with very small amount of labeled data, just like what people do in NLP. Like they use BERT because it has a very good contextual representations which can be just fine-tuned with a few sentences or very small amount of labeled data for your NLP application. And similarly the idea was presented that way here, right? So like I said, so once you have Z, you can feed them to a contextual representation which extracts high level feature information from the low level feature representation Z, right? And that is done using transformers, standard models these days people use, right? So transformer models. But so the trick is not just feed the Z's as it is, but you mask them. Mask them in the sense you just replace some of the feature vectors by some random vectors or some fixed feature vectors, and you ask the model to distinguish the true representations by the true representation of the masked feature vectors, and you can do that using something called contrastive learning. But before that, you have to the contrastive loss uses the quantized representation while computing the loss, which are these Q's here, and the so the idea is you have to contrast between CT and Qt. Assume CT and Qt are Qt is basically the quantized representation of ZT, right? So you have to make sure the CT, which is the contextual representation at time step t, close to the Qt, and it is far from all other quantized representations which are basically other than time step t, right? And that is done using contrastive learning, right? Contrastive loss, right? And that is the unsupervised contrastive learning loss. And you also add something called diversity loss in order to make sure the quantization codebook is used efficiently, right? And using those two losses, you can simply train this self-supervised learning model, or you can train this large pre-trained model using unlabeled data, and then you can have, then after training you'll have a good feature extractor which you can fine tune for your application, for downstream application such as speech recognition, or in this case phoneme recognition task. So now that we have our pre-trained model, so all we have to do is you have to just fine tune the wave-to-wave model, and the goal is to predict the phoneme sequence for a given audio, right? That means you have to fine tune this model to predict the phoneme sequence, right? And usually what people do is they just use CTC loss, and like in case of speech recognition they use character sequence, or the grapheme sequence of the or the grapheme vocabulary to predict, right, for speech recognition task. But in this case, since they are focusing on phoneme recognition, they are using phoneme labels as the output units at the CTC layer. But I mean that's all okay. Now let's say we have a unknown language, right? And what if I want to predict phoneme sequence for that unknown language, right? So let's say you have a final phoneme recognizer, right? So it takes raw audio as input and it gives you a sequence of phonemes, right? So on. And during training, let's say this obviously when you say I'm predicting phoneme sequence, there should be some limit because the vocabulary is limited, right? So as I said in the initial slide, we don't have same phonemes for all the languages, right? Or we don't have set of phonemes which you can use for representing all the phonemes of the languages, right? So each language will have its own phonemes, right? And we can't uh, find, or we can't build a vocabulary which has all the phonemes of all the languages in the world, right? What we can do is we can use something called articulatory feature. I'll come to that. Before that, let's just understand this idea clearly, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some languages, right? Let's say 40 languages, right? And I'm going to extract the phoneme sequence for all the 40 languages, and I'm going to use some label data, right? 10 hours of label data per language, let's just assume, right? And let's say you get let's say 500 phonemes, right? Combining phonemes of all the languages, right? And you have per language, let's say you have 10 languages, and you have 10 hours for each language, so we have 100 hours of audio data, and you have vocabulary. You just fine tune this model for phoneme recognition task. Now the question is, let's say I give you a new language, 11th language, right? And I ask you, okay, predict the phoneme sequence for this language. What usually people answer for this question is, okay, fine, let's take 10 hours of more data for this language, and then find all the phoneme sequence for this language, and then fine tune the model again, and you will be able to get your phoneme recognizer for this language, right? But we can't do that for all the languages. But it is because in this paper they propose zero shot phoneme recognition, right? So what I'm going to do is very simple. Each audio or each sound of any language will have 4 groups of attributes, right? So major class, right here, it's a kind of syllables, vocalic, approximate, and sonorant. And manner of articulation, which is continuate, lateral, nasal, and strident. And place of articulation, which is label, coronal, and dorsal, and pharyngeal, and laryngeal, like this is voiced and aspirant and glottalized. So basically these are the phonemes or these are the sound attributes which any vocal system can represent, right? So this is like speech processing 101. I mean, if you have taken speech processing course, you would know about all these syllables and all these classes of attributes, right? So what we can do is, for each sound we can represent using a feature vector, which is called articulatory feature vector, which is like 21 dimension, and each number will be 1 or 0 depending on whether that sound has that particular attribute or not, right? Now the question is, okay, let's say we get these feature vectors for each sound of a target language, which is the 11th language which we are talking about here. Can we map this articulatory feature to one of the feature vectors or one of the attribute of the target the training languages? These are the 10 languages, right? Because some of the sounds in the phone in the training of these 10 languages may have similar articulatory feature vectors compared to the target language. So in that way we can simply map our target language attribute to the training language attributes, and get the corresponding or map the corresponding phonemes, and then do the decoding. Very simple, right? So that is what they have done in this. So in this paper, so they use 2 types of targets. So one is target to train to target, which is kind of a lexicon which maps phonemes in the training vocabulary to the closest target phonemes, right? And TGT to TR is a lexicon that maps the target phonemes to the training phonemes. And as I said, they just compute the distance between the articulatory feature vectors, and if whichever gives you the closest or the 0 Hamming distance, you just map that to that particular training phoneme, right? Very simple, right? So this is the idea. This is the phoneme mapping idea here, using articulatory feature vectors. Okay, once you do that, then you can simply you feed the audio and then just generate the phoneme sequence using the old model itself, but now you have to map your predicted phonemes to the target using the phoneme mapping idea I told you about, right? And once you do that, then you have your output, right? You have phoneme recognition output. That's all about this paper. I mean, nothing too fancy or new architectures or anything. It's just a simple idea of using articulatory features in order to map the phonemes so that you can get the phoneme recognition. That is why it's called zero shot phoneme recognition, right? So now let's look at the experimentation. So they use MLS, Babel, and common voice data sets for training the pre-training the wave-to-wake architecture, which is the XLSR model, which if you know about wave-to-wake 2.0, right? And these are the language splits here, as you can see. And they also do pre-processing and phonemization. So basically phonemization is these data sets come with audio and transcript, which is the words or sequence of words, right? They have to convert those sequence of words into a sequence of phonemes using some lexicon mapping or other types of mappings, right? So what they do is they use this phonemization technique, which are present, which there are tools which can do those kind of things. There is a tool called eSpeak, and there are few other tools which can do that, which can do that phonemization, right? So that's the training data. And as I said, you do or you use CTC based CTC loss, phoneme based CTC loss, and you can use a you can use some kind of beam search decoder with some language model. So in this language model will be phoneme language model, not a word level language model or character level language model. It's external 6-gram phoneme level language model, and you can simply train it with your training data, right? And beam size and so on for decoding, right? Now let's look at the experiments. This is where things are quite interesting, right? So you have baseline model, which is a wave-to-wake unsupervised model, like I told you about the recent unsupervised speech recognition paper from Facebook, and I think few of the authors in this paper are also authors in that paper as well. So this is the paper, wave-to-wake 2.0 unsupervised model, and for German, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, so on. So we have the results here, and you have results with n-gram language model. As you can see, the average word error rate for with wave-to-wake unsupervised is 27%, which is quite good. And after adding language model, you get 23%. And this work without language model, it's not so great. As you can see, it's 33% PER, and if you add language model, it's the best. Okay, and this slide has 3 tables. Sorry for putting so much information in one slide, but so the table 3 here shows you the comparison of this approach with previous works, right? And not the wave to unsupervised. It's this paper. I think it's a GAN based phoneme recognition paper, I think so. So with the comparison, as you can see, supervised approach, this works wins most of the time, and with zero shot also this paper wins for both Cantonese and Lao language, right? And this table represents the effect of using pre-training, no pre-training, monolingual pre-training, and multilingual pre-training. So no pre-training means you don't pre-train the model at all, you just fine-tune it with the label data, and even then you have 10 hours of label data and 200 hours of label data per language, as you can see. And with that, using that, I mean, once you with no pre-training, if you fine-tune the model, your word error rates are, I mean, the phoneme error rates are not so great, right? I mean, 47, that's very high, right? And even adding more and more label data, and still the model is not so, I mean, the numbers are not that big, the changes, right? So 47 to 41, 45 to 32, I mean, it's not so, not a big change from 10 to 200 hours. But if you do pre-training, this first pre-training is a monolingual pre-training where they just use English data, and even then with just 10 hours of label data, 10 hours of label data for training or fine-tuning the model, you're already getting a really good PER, right? So 16%, and average is just 23.9%, really good number, right? And if you use XLSR, which is obviously the multilingual pre-training, you are getting like a 22.2%. I mean, not a big jump or anything, but it's still good, right? So these are the numbers for this is the table for no pre-training, pre-training, and no pre-training, monolingual pre-training and multilingual pre-training. And also you have different phonemizers. Like I said, eSpeak is one tool, and there is a Phonetis Horus toolkit. I haven't heard of this toolkit, but anyway, using those two toolkits you can generate phonemes sequences for a given sequence of words, right? So with that, as you can see, eSpeak is quite better compared to this other tool. And this is a different lexicon. This is the results for using different lexicon or different mapping methods. And as you can see, the changes are not that big. Both of them are good, right? And that's all for this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe if you are interested in these kind of tutorials. And thank you.